Welcome back to the Everyday English Podcast, the show that helps you learn real, natural English just by listening. I'm Jane.
And I'm John. So happy you're here with us today.
Now, if you listened to our last episode, you'll know we spent the whole time talking about food. Today, though, we are switching gears to a brand new topic.
Ha! Well, it's time to switch gears. And by the way, switching gears is a great English phrase. It means changing from one topic or activity to another, like when you're driving a car and you shift to a different gear. So we're switching gears from food to travel.
Yes, travel, one of my absolute favorite topics. Whether you've been to 50 countries or you're planning your very first big trip, this episode is for you. We'll be using real, natural phrases, the kind you'd actually hear from native speakers. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
All right, so Jane, I have to ask, what was the trip that really started it all for you? Like the one that made you fall in love with traveling?
Oh, that's easy. Japan. I went about 5 years ago and I was completely blown away. Like nothing could have prepared me for it. The food, the people, the cities, the countryside, everything was just incredible. I remember landing in Tokyo and just standing there at the airport thinking, okay, this is a completely different world.
Wow, yeah.
But I'll be honest, I was completely jet-lagged when I arrived, and jet-lagged is a word we should talk about because it comes up every time you travel long distances. Jet lag is the tired, confused feeling you get when you fly across many time zones and your body clock gets all mixed up. So if someone says, I'm jet-lagged, it means they feel exhausted and disoriented from a long flight.
Oh, jet lag is the worst. I once arrived in a new city at noon and fell asleep standing up in a coffee shop. True story.
Ha! Falling asleep standing? That is brilliant. Okay, your turn, John. What was your travel awakening?
Mine was Portugal, Lisbon and Porto. I went a few years back and I was just obsessed. The architecture, the food, the wine. I even spent a day in a tiny little village outside Porto, completely off the beaten track. That's a great phrase. Off the beaten track means somewhere most tourists don't go. A hidden, less popular place. Somewhere refreshingly different.
Oh, I love that. And those hidden places really are so special, aren't they? The ones you discover that most people never find, those are the ones you remember forever.
So true. Those hidden places really are the most special. Okay, let's talk about the practical side of travel, starting with packing.
Ha! John, are you a good packer?
Absolutely not. I am a terrible packer. I always bring too much. Every single trip I come home with clothes I never wore, shoes still in a bag, and I'm always annoyed at myself at the airport, struggling with a massive suitcase. What about you?
I used to be like that, but over time I've really learned to travel light. And that's another great phrase, to travel light. It means to pack as little as possible, to not bring a lot of luggage. Light here doesn't mean happy, it means with few belongings, without extra weight. So when you travel light, you're packing only the essentials.
I respect it. I never know what to leave behind. What if I need that third pair of shoes?
Pack whatever makes you happy, I say. But once you've finished packing and you're ready to head out, the next stop is the airport. And airports have their own whole vocabulary. You've got check-in, where you give your bag to the airline and get your boarding pass. Then there's security, where they check your bags. Then the departure gate, the place where you wait to board your flight. And when you land, there's baggage claim, where you pick up your suitcase.
I love that feeling of baggage claim, when your bag comes around and the adventure is officially starting. Jane, does it remind you of any trips in particular?
Yes, I have the perfect one. Let me tell you.
So a few years ago, I traveled to this tiny rural village for a yoga retreat, completely in the middle of nowhere, hours from any city. And in the middle of nowhere is a great phrase. It means a very remote, isolated place, far from towns or shops. Anyway, on my first evening there, the local community had organized this incredible outdoor dinner under the stars. Long wooden tables, lanterns everywhere, homemade food. I didn't know a single person, and within an hour I was laughing and swapping stories with the most wonderful group of people from all over the world, completely unplanned and absolutely magical.
Oh, that sounds absolutely incredible.
It really was one of the best nights of my life, and I never would have found it without being open to going somewhere completely off the beaten path.
I love that. You know what? That's the spirit. That's exactly what going with the flow looks like. And go with the flow is such a useful travel phrase. It means to relax and stay open to whatever happens instead of getting stressed when plans change. When you go with the flow, you leave room for the unexpected.
Exactly. And some of my best travel memories come from those unplanned moments. Missed trains, wrong buses, getting a little lost on a hike.
Right, right.
Those spontaneous moments really are what make travel so special. The unexpected little surprises are the ones you carry with you for years.
100%. I once missed a train in Italy and ended up with 3 extra hours in a tiny little town. At first, I was a bit flustered, but then I found this incredible little restaurant and had the best meal of my entire life.
See? Go with the flow. Okay, let's talk dream trips, because everyone has a bucket list, right, Jane? A bucket list is a list of all the amazing experiences and adventures you dream of having. Places you'd love to visit, things you'd love to do. It's basically your big life wish list.
Oh, I love that. A big life wish list. My top of the list is New Zealand. I've wanted to go for years. The landscapes just look so amazing.
New Zealand is on mine too, absolutely. And also Morocco. And Iceland. And honestly, about 15 other places.
The bucket list never gets shorter, does it? Every trip you take, you add 3 more places to the list.
Ha, so true. And let's talk about getting around, because that's such a big part of travel too. A really useful phrase here is find your bearings. It means to get familiar with where you are, to understand your surroundings. Like on your first day in a new city, you might just walk around to find your bearings.
Yes. And honestly, the best way to find your bearings is just to walk. Don't take the bus on day 1. Walk around, get a little lost, look at things, find a cafe, sit down, watch the world go by. That's travel to me.
That's so true. And hotels, they have their own whole vocabulary too. You've got a check-in time when you can first enter your room, and a check-out time when you have to leave. Single rooms, double rooms, suites, and you'll often need to make a reservation, which just means booking the room in advance.
And if you show up without a reservation, you might hear, "I'm sorry, we're fully booked," which simply means no rooms are available. Fully booked means no space left.
Have you ever had a funny experience with fully booked out in the real world?
Yes. I once called ahead to this tiny, popular little trattoria in Italy, a traditional Italian restaurant, to book a table for dinner. And they said, "Sorry, we're fully booked this evening." But the lovely owner suggested I come back the next morning for breakfast instead. So I did. And it turned out to be one of the highlights of the whole trip. Fresh pastry, strong coffee, sitting in this beautiful little sunny courtyard. Absolutely perfect.
Oh, that sounds absolutely wonderful. So being fully booked actually led you to something even better.
You know, that's actually true. And I think that's kind of the whole point of travel. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need a 5-star hotel or a first-class flight. You just need to be open. Open to the unexpected. open to new people, new food, new experiences.
Well said. Travel really does change you, doesn't it? Every time I come home from a trip, I feel like I see things a little differently, a bit more curious, a bit more open-minded.
Absolutely. And even if you can't travel right now, maybe money is tight or life is busy, you can still travel in your imagination. Read books set in other countries, watch films from different cultures, listen to podcasts in other languages. Every little bit of exploration counts.
Exactly. And hey, listening to this podcast counts too. You're literally exploring the English language right now.
I love that. Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap of all the travel phrases we covered today. We had jet lagged, off the beaten track, travel light, in the middle of nowhere, go with the flow, bucket list, find your bearings, and fully booked. That is a solid collection.
Really solid. And if you want to practice, just try using one of those phrases out loud today. The more you use them, the more natural they become.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Everyday English podcast today. It really means a lot to us. We hope you had fun and picked up some great travel vocabulary along the way.
And next time on the Everyday English podcast, we're talking about work and jobs, how to talk about what you do, describe your workplace, and use the kind of everyday English phrases you'd hear in any office or workplace conversation. It's a really useful one, so definitely join us.
Until next time, take care, keep practicing, and happy learning.
Bye for now. See you next time.